we are going to look at Java inheritance. We've done inheritance with Python. Java, of course, has more curly cues and braces and things. This is the base class or the parent class. In Java, what does private mean? And what does public mean?
Everyone can, or you can access it.
What about private?
It can only be accessed by the program, I believe,
Can only be accessed in the class.
in the class. Okay.
Public doesn't mean anybody else can access it. It means the other files that are part of the program can access it. So it doesn't mean public like everybody in the world and other programs. It means our program, which is divided into multiple parts. They can access the constructor. They can access the methods. So the methods and everything else are public because you don't want people going in here and directly messing with your private data fields. You want them to go through a method so you can, we don't even really have a accessing the thing method, do we? But if you did have a method to get and set, you can do input validation in the get and set to help protect somebody messing this up. This is just not an example of that. This is an example of inheritance. So here's our default constructor in Java. If you're going to, normally you don't have to do a default constructor. If you're going to do one with parameters, you need to put in the default constructor. So a constructor is a special method. Because it has the name of the class and the same as the name of the file, Java says, oh, this is a constructor. Let's see which one you're calling. And when we call it bicycle bike equals, that does the default. This one does the parameters. So Java looks at, are there parameters or not? Same thing in Python and C++ and other things where it's the same way. Theory is the same. How it's actually typed in is different. These are incoming parameters. They get assigned to this. I like to use this .gear because then I know this belongs to this. It's like self in Python. And we're shifting gears, bringing in a gear. This will be a setter, but I just called it shift gears, apply break, because we're bringing things in. We're changing internal variables. Oh, that should be this .speed, shouldn't it? Uh-oh. I made a boo-boo there. Still works the same because Java recognizes it, but I like to do that to distinguish between the two. All right, then we do, oh, yep, this is this .gear. See, there's one reason I update things is because I find things in class when I'm talking and they don't work. They will work.
Is that supposed to be number of years?
That's the variable.
No, I mean, I'm reading the return. NO years.
What return?
No years.
This is a string.
Okay.
So these are all getters. Setters, because they're bringing in something else and they're changing the internal variables. Because when we do this, you don't have to do this because based on context, Java can recognize this is an incoming, this is one that's inside. I like to put this to make sure you can distinguish the difference. I did discover that I hadn't done it all the way down. This is an override. Like we did the dunder str method in Python to override the toString. If we don't have that, then it just prints out a memory address when you print the object. This way, when we print the object, it actually shows useful, oops, wrong one. It actually shows useful information. So normally if we do bike1.toString, we get a hexadecimal memory address. Well, that's not very helpful. This gives us information about the library. I mean, not about the library, about the object. Oop, I must have updated since the last, oh, that's right, I have a brand new computer. So number of gears are 0, speed of bicycle is, number of gears are. So every time we're doing bike to string, we are gathering this information. So this is a string that's being returned when we print, oh boy, I better put that in the right place. I'm never going to remember. All right. So when you do toString on the object, we're returning actually good information. So this is the string we're returning. This is where it prints out, because we're overriding the default toString method. And in Java, you have to put override on top of it. Make sense? That's what that part's for. So this creates our object. We're printing out, oh, just a second. Let me look at that. What am I doing there? Yep, number of gears are, oh, I did this to demonstrate that if you print the byte directly, or if you print it .toString, it's the same thing. Each one works the same. Because this is using the .toString method. So you don't need toString, it'll work fine without it. It'll work fine with it, either way. So far, so good? Now, that is normal stuff. We're not inheriting anything yet. Our base class works fine. It's lovely. It's a thing of beauty. Well, until after I fixed it, it is. This is going to be the child or derived class. So mountain bike extends this guy. In Python, we put it in a little parenthesis. This can have its own stuff. So bicycle does not have seat height. Mountain bike needs one more constructor. This is just like Python. We have to invoke super because we first have to construct a bicycle. Then we construct a mountain bike using the bicycle. So it all goes together. So everything that's in the, well, you notice not everything that's in here is in here, because when you inherit, you get all this stuff. Everything that's in here is part of mountain bike. However, our mountain bike, we want a different string, so we can override the override. Super, remember super is the parent class. That's what they call it in Java. So super means we are going to print the bicycle object to string, and we're going to print this seat height from the mountain bike. So we're using each class or each object, whatever you want to call it. Some stuff from here, some stuff from here, which means besides a mountain bike, we could do an e-bike, we could do an e-tricycle, we could do all kinds of things, because all the bicycles have these things in common. An e-bike is going to have battery charge or something like that in it to extend bicycle. Yes? So to invoke it, you just do this. But remember, if we do this, we have to pass in 3 parameters. We can, because what are we missing in here? We don't have a default constructor. No, you don't have to have a default constructor to do this, right? Sorry. If you want a default constructor, you have to put it in there. If you have no constructor, automatically you get a default constructor. That's it. And there it is. That's the basics of inheritance. And I think I do one next week, like Maya something or another, where we actually do something with doing some inheritance. I think it's the we bake our own cookies. There's the assignment. You do not have to bake cookies. This means just create your own class, an inherited class, and I just gave that as an example. You can use ChatGPT to come up with some ideas, and bake your own cookies just means do your own thing. So now you know what that means. All right.